Why are you worried about tomorrow? There is something called dreading the future or anticipatory fear. It simply means the feeling of being scared about something that hasn't happened yet, but might happen in the future. For example, being diagnosed of a terminal illness. You think of it and you are worried because you know you are going to die. Or you are a woman in your mid-40s, never married, and soon hitting menopause. You begin to worry for fear of not being able to have children in the near future. Anticipatory fear is a psychological trauma. It makes you live in your mind instead of reality. It often affects the quality of life and can lead to a nervous breakdown. One scholar has this to say about anticipatory fear, and I quote, "When the anticipatory fear is rooted in a past event or experience, it is often associated with dread, which can be physiologically intense and frequently associated with something ominous or traumatic in nature. Some form of trauma is often at the root of a dread response," unquote. Are you going through anticipatory fear at the moment? Don't worry. God has a solution for you. First, in Matthew chapter 6, verse 34, Jesus says, "Therefore, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own." Jesus knew the dangers of dreading the future. Therefore, he is saying to you, my dear friend, live in the present, one day at a time. Instead of getting caught up in the what-ifs of tomorrow, focus on the present and find peace in the now. One pastor has put it this way: today is the tomorrow you were worried about yesterday. Focusing on living for God's kingdom today is the antidote to worry, unquote. If you focus on the present, you can change many things in the future. Tell God to show you how to live the present. Second, learn to trust in God's plan for your life. Jeremiah chapter 29 verse 11 says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." When anticipatory fear grips you, you must remember that God has a plan for you. He always has a plan. Trusting in his plan means believing that whatever the future holds, it is for your good. Remember, Paul said to the believers in Rome, in Romans chapter 8, verse 28, "And we know that all things work together for good to those who love God, to those who are called according to his purpose," unquote. Know that God has got your back. Third, remember the goodness of the Lord in time past. Isaiah chapter 46 verse 9 says, "Remember the former things, those of long ago. I am the Lord, and there is no other. I am God, and there is none like me." You can overcome dreading the future by reflecting on how God has guided you in the past. Recall those moments when you faced similar challenges, filled with thoughts of doom and gloom, thinking all was lost. Remember Those days you felt it was over, yet God intervened and saw you through. He will come through for you once again. The fourth thing I want you to remember: why not tell all your worries to God in prayer? Philippians 4, verses 6 through 7 says, "Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your request to God, and the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus." When fear takes hold on you, bow your head, close your eyes, and seek the peace that only God can provide through prayer. I just want to assure you that God cares so much about you. He loves you. May the Lord bless you.